I was able to increase my credit score by over 100 points in less than 30 days. Stay tuned to see how I did it. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Inspired Investors channel where we share personal finance and real estate information to inspire freedom. I'm Caleb, and today we're going to be talking about how I was able to boost my credit score by over 100 points back in 2020. So let's get into it. So my credit has always been pretty good. I started building credit when I was 18 years old. I opened up a secure credit card at my local credit union. And since opening that card, I've never missed a payment. I've always paid in full and on time, just like I talked about in my videos earlier in this playlist. In 2020, I got my first real credit card and I got it through Chase. And if you're curious as to why I chose Chase, I have a video on how to travel for free in this playlist as well, and I'll link it down in the description. But that will give you insight as to why I chose Chase. Typically, I would say go with Chase or Amex if you're interested in doing something like this. But watch the video if you're curious. So in June 2020, I had a credit score of about 664. And by the end of June, my score jumped by 50 points. The following month in July, my score jumped again by another 50 or 60 points. And so in this video, I want to talk about the two things I did that boosted my score. So the first 50-point jump was due to being added on a credit card that had a $10,000 limit and about 10 years of credit history. If you don't know what an authorized user is, it's basically someone who is given a credit card to spend on someone else's account, but the credit history of that card is also put on the authorized user's report. If you don't know what an authorized user is yet, go ahead and check out my other two videos on establishing and growing your credit for a little more insight. So I was added to this account, but I didn't have access to it at all. I actually never even got a credit card. So if you're interested in being added as an authorized user, I would say start with the people that you know. Maybe your parents or your friends or your siblings, maybe someone in your circle has good credit, well-established credit, and they'll be willing to add you on their account and not give you a card or anything like that, but just so that you have the history reporting on your credit profile. If you don't have anyone in your circle that you can ask to do this, you can purchase trade lines online and that'll have the same effect. This is also a great way to leverage your credit in the future. If you do establish great credit and you have trade lines that are really old and have high limits, people will pay to be added as an authorized user on your account, and you can make money by doing next to nothing. So it's something to consider. It's not for everybody. I'll let you know if I ever do it, but for now, I'm still getting established, so we'll see. So I also just want to note that it's really important to be very careful when you're dealing with authorized user status, whether that's adding somebody or being added, and whether you're dealing with family or complete strangers on the internet. Make sure that you're dealing with someone that you trust, because your credit information, your social security number is very, very sensitive and it's extremely important. So you don't want that to get into the wrong hands or anything like that. So the second thing I did to boost my credit score by another 60 points, which may or may not be applicable to you, is I paid a collection account and had it removed from my credit report. Okay, listen, there are ways to clean your credit without paying off your collection accounts. And there's a lot of people who will say, you got to go to a credit specialist, this or that. You can do everything that they can do by yourself. So if you're interested in how to clean your credit and information on that, how you can do it yourself, comment clean credit below, and I'll go ahead and make a video detailing all the information that I have on how to do that. So anyway, this collection account came out of nowhere in April of 2020. And at the time, my score was like high 730s, and it knocked my score down to like a 670, and I was hot. It's actually a really messed up story how it got on there. I'm not gonna go into that in this video, but I guess the moral of the story is that after you turn 18, don't tell people your name on the phone, all right? Your parents are right. Don't answer the phone for no bill collectors, no numbers you don't know. Don't worry about none of that. Don't do that. Okay, so back to paying this thing off. I personally decided to not negotiate with them how much I would pay. I didn't owe a whole lot of money, so it wasn't that big a deal. But the way these things work is that a collection agency actually buys your debt from the person that you owe at a super low discount. So if you owe somebody $100,000 and you never pay them, they'll sell your debt to a collection agency for, let's say, $25,000, just so that they have something, and let the collection agency deal with you on their own. So you can actually negotiate how much you end up paying them if that's something that you wanted to do. So before I paid them, and this is something very important, I got an email from the lady who had been calling me, and in that email I had her explicitly say that if I were to pay them, they would remove this item from my credit report. So this is super important. I personally, dealing with a situation like this, would never take anything less than it being removed. I don't want it to be reduced. I don't want it to be brought to zero. Anything that's not a removal is not good enough. And the reason for this is because if it's not removed, it's going to continue to negatively impact my credit. And what's the point in paying it if it's still going to be bad on my credit? So after I got her email saying that the account will be removed from my credit profile, I went ahead and sent an e-check to them. I personally don't like to send my debit or credit card information to the collection agency. So yeah, after that, in I think like 3 or 4 days, it was gone off my credit report. Credit Karma sent me an update. My score went up 60 points and it felt pretty good. So if this video was helpful for you, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone else who will find it helpful. Also, feel free to check us out on Instagram at Inspired Investors. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.